I haven't completely finalized it, but I mean, we'll ultimately we'll have offense and defense probably on separate sides, and it just gives us the flexibility to get some guys out that have played a lot of football, get them out early, get them some reps, but then get them out of the scrimmage as well, and bump some of those other guys up, and have the ability to move guys from unit to unit. Like what we've done, I feel like in particular the defense the last 2 or 3 days out on the grass has really gotten a lot more comfortable in assignment, alignment, and technique, and getting their eyes in the right place. So I like where we're continuing to push. But when we finish up after Saturday, there's still a lot of growth that's got to happen for us in May, June, and July with our players, and if we do that, then we'll have a chance. Well, obviously it's done for safety, trying to eliminate as many big collisions as they possibly can. I don't have a final thought as far as how that will strategically, what we'll do yet. It's something that I think Coach Toth and I will spend a lot of time on as we move through the summertime, and then maybe even into training camp as well. Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of guys, and I think in year one of your system, there's so much growth that guys have to make with the ball in their hands, understanding scheme, understanding foot and hat placement. There's a lot of growth. So all of our guys have done that. I think, as much as anything, maybe the defensive line unit has come a long ways. Some of what we're doing schematically is a little bit different for them, and I think they've adjusted and grown a lot here lately in the process. I think that's a position that typically is going to fluctuate a little bit depending on how old your starter typically is. The older the starter, the more guys you're going to have on scholarship. You'll work to 4. When you start a young guy, typically you're going to end up having a smaller amount of guys on scholarship. They've all made a lot of strides. We still got a long ways to go for those guys to be ready to play at a championship level. But the thing that they're willing to do is work and continue to improve. It is. See young guys that maybe haven't had a lot of opportunities to play underneath the lights to come out and play sound fundamentally and understand scheme and get themselves in the right position. Both sides of the ball, you want to see guys make plays when they're in a position of space. Defensively, can you tackle when you're in one-on-one situation? Offensively, can you go make a play? Whether the ball's up in the air or you got the ball in your hands, you got to make somebody miss. So there's a lot of things that we need to see from our guys, but from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2, much improved. Both sides of the ball still have a lot of improvement to make here as we get on the field on Wednesday before we get out there on Saturday. I think we do have some guys that were voted in the leadership council, but guys that are have maybe had a voice in the past, maybe weren't the loudest voice, but are stepping forward. On the offensive line and on the offensive side of the ball. Wyatt Miller's a guy that you hear and see his presence out there on a consistent basis. Defensively, Pat Jasinski's been a guy like that. Trey Neal's been a guy like that. Joey Connors has been a guy like that. So I think we're starting to see those guys, do more and more of it as they're kind of taking more ownership of what we're doing and have a better understanding of what we're doing schematically. It's giving them the ability to feel comfortable and step up and speak. And certainly throughout the summer, if you're going to be a championship team, you got to have championship habits, and that's got to come from within the locker room. It's got to be demanded, and typically your leaders are the guys that set the tone. Yeah, shoot, it was an opportunity for the Nightmare to come out and see practice, see some of the changes that we're making with what we're doing, an opportunity to interact with our players that they may not get an opportunity to do very often. At the end of the day, the players went through and shook everybody's hands, and I just think it's when we're out on the practice field, whether it's recruits that are here or we get a bunch of fans that are open to it. It just creates an energy and an environment of competitiveness for our players, and certainly enjoyed last Friday when the students were here. Yeah, continuing to get better defensively, tackling in space. I think some of that is just being in better position, and some of that's from understanding your scheme and alignment and assignment. And on the offensive side of the ball, continuing to get better as far as identifications, as multiple as we are up front. Identifying both in pass protections and in the run game. We got a bunch of guys, and there's no shortage of guys that want those roles here. But a lot of guys have been getting work at punt return and kick return. I think as we get into fall camp, we'll have a better understanding of who's going to maybe step forward and kind of take that lead spot. He's competitive. I've talked about that in the meeting room on the practice field. He's extremely smart. He understands spacing out on the field, understands defensive body positioning, recognizes coverages in a pretty good way as well. Continuing to get better fundamentally, and that's putting his eyes in the right spot. It's also him getting his body in the right spot so he can continue to be more consistent, more accurate from within the pocket. Everybody can see that once the play breaks down, whether that's protection or something's not there down the field, he has the ability to extend and make plays with his feet. You can see that during practice, and you see it on game tapes from last year. We're trying to continue to push him to be better inside of the pocket, make more plays from within the pocket when they're there, and then when it's not, get out and go make a play. And he pushes himself. He expects a lot from himself. He expects perfection, and those are all signs of a great play. No, certainly there is a marketing side to it. From a head coach's perspective, it's about ball. It's about seeing guys go out and play and compete in a competitive environment. All the coaches off the field understand situational football. Have a big play, come back and play the next play. Have a bad play, come back and play the next play. We're always coaching about snap to whistle, how you got to play, how you got to compete, how you got to get yourself lined up. But in the flow of a game, okay, now how do I reset myself from the last play, the whistle, until the next play? And young guys have to go through that process. So, I think there's a lot to be gained in the spring game from the coach's side and the player side. I think the biggest thing that I've mentioned it a lot, you guys have heard the word, our kids like to compete. They enjoy playing at and that's a trait that you don't necessarily know is going to be there, and it's not at every place. When our kids run through the gate with their helmet strapped on, they compete hard, man. They have fun, and for 2 hours and 10 minutes, they're getting after it. And if you have that trait, if your team likes to play, you got a chance. There's a lot of things that we got to get better at between now and opening kickoff against UConn. But our kids are going to push themselves to become their best. Did I expect that? Yeah, but certainly when you're winning at the level that they were winning at, yeah, you hope that that's going to be there. You always know that. Is it always there? Maybe not. There's a lot of good players left. So what was going to be the makeup of this team of 2018? So.